Good morning, everyone. I am Dr.R.Suganya, Department of Computer Science with Cybersecurity. Today, we are going to see about the topic certificate revocation. Introduction: what is certificate revocation? Proposed mechanisms for certificate status information, evaluation criteria for CSI mechanisms, the need for an alternative mechanism, alternative dissemination of CSI, and problems to be solved. Introduction: in PKI, a new era for network security. What is certificate revocation? What is a certificate status information mechanism? And secure and prompt revocation service. So, certificate revocations here we can see the dependent entity and the repositories. So, here we can like a signer and authenticating entity. So, it has been dependable on dependent entity and it has been taken from the repository and like CSI repository. Okay, so there is three repositories here. Certificate revocation. So here certificate revocation list mechanism is used. So compared to blacklist, that is banks, cell phones operators, dependent entities means merchants, banks, other cell phone operators. So in the previous diagram we can see the blacklist dependent entities like merchants, banks, and other cell phone operators. CRL, that is certificate revocation list, the signed list containing serial numbers of revoked certificates at revocation dates and optionals or some reasons. And Delta certificate revocation list, distribution points, fresh revocation information, redirect CRL, dynamic repartitioning of large DP, enhanced CRL distribution option. So here CSA should contain positive, not negative information. So dependent entity should set an ad hoc freshness requirements and certificate holder should provide ad hoc CSI. Online certificate status protocol. The server returning signed CSI corresponding to CSI request by dependent entities. Possible OCSP responses. The good meaning certificate has not been revoked. Revoked meaning certificate has been revoked or suspended. Unknown means OCSP is not aware of the certificate. Repository of CSI need not to be trusted. Separation of certification authority. Dependent entity requires fresh enough CSI from certificate holder. Evaluation criteria, the types of mechanism. M1 transparency, M2 offline revocation, M3 delegation of revocation, M4 delegation of CSI dissemination, M5 delegation of certificate path validation, M6 referral capability, M7 revocation reasons. Evaluation criteria of efficiency: E1 timeliness of CSI, E2 freshness of CSI, E3 means bounded revocation, E4 is emergency CSI capability, E5 is economy, E6 is scalability, and E7 is accessibility. In the form of security, S1 to S6, which has like authentication, integrity, compromise, revo compromise, contain functionality and availability. The need for mechanism, which means dependent entities and certificate holders are not necessarily experienced computer users. They are security aware, and it is related procedures which have to be made more transparent as in the credit card system. An agent based mechanism. The transparency criteria has to be met. Location, retrieval, and validation of CSI has to be made transparent to the dependent entity. An agent based mechanism could do that using the aforementioned CSI mechanism and providing an indirection layer between dependent entity and CSI mechanism. Alternative dissemination of certificate status information. Like here, it must be able to suspend execution and resume it at another execution environment. The next one is retain their state when transporting themselves to the other execution environment. Create child agents and deploy them. Select a network location out of a list of locations with the least network congestion. Communicate the retrieved information back to their owner or to the owner's application that spawned the agent. Agent meeting places, which is also called agent platforms. Dependent entity, authenticating entity or signer, certification authority, certificate status information agent, user certificate status information agent, and interface agent. So there are some problem seeking solution. So how can the location functions be implemented transparently? How can dependent entities retrieve and validate CSI transparently? How a certificate path can be validated? What is the way this mechanism interacts with dependent entities? How are agents protected from unauthorized modifications or replacement? How can CSI carried by agents to be protected? How can an agent tell a fraudulent agent meeting place? Thank you.